snuggle this up here, and then this here. That's perfect if it'll stay. Let me get I'm away for a couple of weeks.
Right. I know that.
Of course you know that.
When are you leaving?
I'll leave Saturday.
Uh-huh. That's an exciting trip.
It's just nice to get a vacation. We haven't traveled much in the last couple of years.
Because of COVID?
Because, yes, well, because of COVID, because of working full-time, all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to start with cat-cow, and it's probably more advantageous to be here. If it gets loud outside, I'm going to close the door. But let's start here.
Oh, okay.
Like this. We'll use the back of the chair.
Okay.
And just pausing for a moment and letting everything be easy and light. The hands can rise. Finding the inhale here, we'll do this 3 times. Exhale as your hands descend. The 3rd time will linger at the heart, so this is the 2nd time. You can do this with 1 or 2 hands. Exhaling your hands descend. I might close the door. Let's see. Hands to the heart. Any wish prayer. And then the hands down by the sides. Tadasana, hands by the side. Feet don't have to be together. And then we're going to slide to look at the chair. And feet are hip distance apart. Look up for a moment. Find something steady to look at. We'll do 1 rising of the hands up so that you just have a sense of lengthening up. Hands to the heart. I'm going to come here so you can see. I'm going to go close the door. Everybody's decided to have a little party back here.
What do you like to know?
So, I'm filming, I get the whole conversation. She's adorable, she doesn't mind. They never gather back there, Cathy.
Except now.
Of course. So what I want you to do is see if you can not use the chair, but it's there in front of you. If you need it, you can actually take your hands and pat the top of the chair. Thank you, the top of the chair. So looking up sort of gives you that sense of length up. Bend the knees only. Send the tail back and fold at the hip creases, and then bring your hands here. You want to weight your heels as much as possible so your tail goes back. When you're looking for stability, usually people tip their tail up when they could tip their tail down like a dog that's done something kind of naughty, and it's a rounded back, it's a little demanding, Cathy, and then tip the tail the other way. Use your exhale to tip the tail down, scoop the belly.
Am I doing it?
And then tip the tail. And I'll give you a cue. This is great. It's the low belly right there goes back. Right there it goes back, and the tail goes down. Yep, just like that. It's a little bit funny. That's a version of the cow, I mean of the cat. And then straighten out the back. See if you can release chair and just bring the trunk up so you're articulating, and then straighten the legs.
Okay.
We're gonna try it one more time. It's good for strengthening the thighs and the glutes, but that tip of the tail especially has you more strengthening the thighs. So there's a gentle rising of the hands to remember the back is super long. Hands to the heart, the chair is there if you need it. Bend the knees. Send the tail back, fold at the front hip crease. It's a little bit like skiing. Fold hip creases, knees, ankles, and take your hands to the chair. It's a squat. It's a version of a chair pose or squat. Round the back, including the upper back. Look to the feet, and then look to the front of the chair. Changing the eye line will help allow you to round the back, and then lengthen out to look to the top of the chair. One more time, exhale, round the back. And this time, straighten up the trunk, straighten the knees, the legs, come to your full height. We're going to change the chair to be oriented on the mat. Oh, you already are on the mat. And then come to face me. Yeah. Your chair's there if you need it. Know where it is. Weight the foot closest to the chair, and the knee rises. And then put toe to the floor and rise. So it's several taps of the toe to the ground, just like that. And it's strengthening here. Great. Your knee, like my knee, likes to tip in.
Yeah.
See if you can ask it to keep tracking straight forward. It's a request. That probably means the insides of the thighs are your strong suit. So by keeping it more tracking straight out, you're just asking a little bit more of the side glute. Yeah. No worries. It challenges balance. You're working on the proprioceptive awareness of your feet. You're tapping your toe. Perfect. You're doing great, Cathy. Your job, and my job too, is to see if that knee will go straight forward. And then bring the foot to the floor. Stand in Tadasana for a moment, letting your body be tall and long. Thank you, standing leg. Thank you, hip flexor. We're going to try a tricky thing. We're going to change places so we don't have to move the chair. You get to come use my chair. I'm going to use your chair.
Okay.
Isn't that tricky? We boldly leave our mats and change places. I would change places with you, Cathy.
Okay, so how come?
Because you have vitality and strength of will, and are very persistent. Granted, I think I'm about the same.
I think you are.
But you, unlike me, are more organized. You know where the chair is. Standing on the foot closest, we're going to let the heel of the outside foot come up, and you're going to bring the knee up and back down several times like this. Yep. Asking, and the two sides are different. This knee is tracking straight forward without you even requesting. It's just the way.
This one is?
Yep. And when your toe touches the ground, what do you sense?
I feel like maybe this isn't what you think, but it feels like I go a little bit off balance.
When
toe touches.
Yeah. So I've been surprised to feel that.
Yeah, that's interesting. So the foot automatically sends you a message for some reason that the toe touching means you're off balance.
Yeah, I noticed it kind of goes to the other foot,
Yeah.
and I feel off balance.
And the surprising thing is you look very balanced.
Mm-hmm.
The knee and the foot are tracking straight
Well, I don't
forward.
feel it now, but I did at the beginning.
Oh, interesting. Because the left ankle looks very strong. You're very straight up and down, and this leg is tracking straight up and down. And then let's take both feet to the floor. You don't have to have your feet together, and just stand tall for a moment. Notice the breath, and exhale it with a sigh. Lips come together at the end of the exhale. The inhale comes in through the nose. And another sigh, and extended breath, Lips come together. Inhale full time. And we're gonna change sides. So we're doing the switcheroo so that we can
So you had mentioned this, I had gleaned this from you before, that your feet don't give you the messages that you would expect. And I wanted to do the sigh. You could also do an O to sort of reassure the nervous system that everything is good. We're gonna do the same. Let's do one. Rising of the arms, hands come together to the heart, standing tall, hand comes to the chair if you wish, other hand to the heart. And then we'll set up a tree pose on this side. So it's similar but different. You bring your weight to your right standing foot, closest to the chair, and then slide the knee out to the side. You can sort of take your heel and kick it inside the ankle. And then take a look down at your feet, because I know that seeing helps establish knowing where your feet are. And then bring the gaze up. And then you can play with being here or here, here or here, or here. And of course, if your right hand wants to travel to the chair, you're welcome to. The tree pose is a standing pose that's held for some period of time. It challenges balance and endurance. And the image of the roots growing deep in the back and the branches high. You're doing great, Cathy.
I changed my foot a bit and lost my balance. You have it long.
I've practiced my balance for a long time. It comes and goes with my practice. Your feet look very secure, even if you're not sure. you know?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah. And then bring the hands down to the heart or to the chair. Hands to the chair by the side, feet hip distance, and just pause for a moment in that standing Tadasana. Sort of reassuring the system that everything is all is well. We're playing.
Nothing over here.
Yeah, so we can do the other. That way we don't have to change the chair back and forth and back and forth. Let's do that version of a mountain pose, our version. Hands come together into the heart, so you're standing tall.
the chairs, we set this up, weight to your left foot. And the right knee rises and slides out. And go ahead and take a look at your feet as your heel comes to the inside of your ankle. You know, it's the tip of the toe, or if the toes fold, makes no difference. And then when you feel that you have got a good connection, then look up. You're already there.
I noticed that your foot is further up, so should I try for this?
It makes no difference. That's why I was saying I was actually trying to do what I thought you would be best for
Okay,
you.
so I'll do
If
that.
if your toes fold, you can fold your toes and use more of the ball of the foot. As you progress, so the less connection you have to the ground, the more challenging it is. And I noticed with you, if you don't, I think it's that your feet don't sense the ground, and so that makes your feet are on the ground, but I think when you don't sense the ground, that's when your brain says, oh, that's a more challenge to my balance.
Mm-hmm.
So as you progress, the next level is to come to here with the sole of the foot, and then you can be here.
I don't dare let
You
go.
can be here. That's fine. It's a fairly demanding pose in terms of strength of the leg, and there's little micro movements that continue to happen, which are quite natural. Your roots grow deep, the branches can go as high as they are as appropriate. And what do you sense of your foot?
That it's not stable. Right now, it's not stable. I mean, moving it up gives me more challenge.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm glad that on the two sides you've set up two different options. So when you come back to this video, you can play with different things. And then let's take the foot to the floor, hands down by the sides. And then let's slide up. And do up. We're gonna do a little in seated to challenge the hip flexors. I think I consider this your chair. I'm gonna set up your chair for you. I laugh because we've been changing back and forth.
Yeah.
But somehow that's your chair. Alright. And then
Go ahead and take a seat, Cathy. I'm gonna hand you the strap. Now, you do not have to use the strap. We do this with the strap and without the strap. But I like to just put it close by, but out of the way for a moment. You can take one heel up and place it back down, up and down. So you're working with the mobility of the foot, flexibility of the foot. One more time. Now, we're gonna change it. We're gonna lift the toes, or the ball of the foot, the ball of the foot. It's a flex of the ankle, yep. And can you just pick up the toes? Spread them wide, pick up the toes. Yeah, if you wanna look down, that's fine. Everybody just spread the toes, spread the toes, spread the toes. Now, see if you can leave all the toes down and just tap the big toe. It's sort of like an impatient tap, like Scott's waiting for Cathy, but he's pretty patient, so he's just gonna tap his toe.
You know, I don't think so.
But Cathy, even if it doesn't do what that toe does, this toe does not do what that toe does, but you're sending messages to your toes to be articulate. It's surprisingly powerful. Okay, now other foot. You can hold on to the chair if that gives you more support. Heel up and down. Yep, you're just articulating. And my 2 feet are different different too. Yeah, my knee wants to go out to the side, you can ask me. And then we're gonna change it after this one. Now it's the whole ball of the foot. It's a deep flex of the front of the ankle. You know, it's so funny, the image of the tap, tap, tap being an impatient tap doesn't have to be, it's just an articulation. Now, see if you can leave the ball of the foot down and lift the toes. And this foot doesn't, my foot doesn't, yeah, there's a little stiffness in my big toe joint. But nonetheless, I really worked on keeping my feet flexible because we lose it. And then leave all the toes down and see if you can, and looking actually helps. Tap, 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 big toe. That's okay, you're talking to it. You're having a conversation with it being articulate.
Doesn't wanna go just on its own.
That's okay, but you're talking to it.
I'm talking to it?
Yeah, you're talking to your brain. So there's something about the brain and the muscles. And they use the example of fingers and toes. If you have something that keeps your two fingers together for a while, they start moving as a unit because your brain, being efficient, just talks to the muscles together because they've been moving that way. And you actually have to consciously move them separately to keep that dexterity and articulation. So it's the same with the toes. I'm giving you a little foot workout, Cathy. It's called foot-toe yoga. All right, you ready? We're gonna work on the thighs and hip flexors. The strap, mine's super long. I want you to loop it and take it into your right hand. It's on, your feet are a little wider than hip distance, or about hip distance. This strap is in your right hand. The right hand and the strap are in between your legs. So not on the outside, but on the inside, because I want you to stand on the foot, the left foot, and bring this knee up.
Okay.
Yeah, now you need to emphasize the weight on the standing foot because that's going to give you stability here as you work on extending out and back in, out and back in, out and back in. And this time we're going to linger here. See if you can play with the toes pointed directly at the ceiling, the heel flexing, and you can wave at me with your toes.
I've got to wiggle all of them.
That's fine, you wiggle all of them. And then bend the knee, emphasize the standing foot, and slide this out to the side. Now extend out. Nice flexibility, Cathy, and then back in. 4 times here. 3, 4, and then see if you can linger here. You can actually try to take out some of the slack. And then bend the knee and bring it back to center. And foot to the floor. Change hands. I like to take my free hand and hold on to the chair, but you were using both hands. So do what's best for you. As the knee rises and you scoop that foot, we're going to kick the leg out and back in, out and back in. 4 times. That's 2, 3, 4, and we're going to linger here. And then wiggle all the toes. If they want to go together, that's fine. Try to think about waving a big toe. Yay! And then all the toes. They just play a piano in haphazard, random way. And then bend the knee. The strap comes on the inside, so if it's come to the outside, bring it to the inside of your thigh. So as you bend the knee, it's not on the outside of the thigh, but the inside of the thigh. Yeah, like that. And then the knee goes out out to the side. Emphasize the standing leg, and then stretch out and back in. You can take out some of the slack if you want. Out and back in. Out and back in. And linger here. See if the toes will point. Yeah, that's good. And then bend the knee. Come back to center and toss the strap just a little. So scoot to the top of your chair, or the front side of your chair. I like to hold on to the chair back, but you find wherever it's supported, and then it's a lifting of the knee, and then changing. So it's a march. So you're warming up some muscles. You're warming up the thigh and the hip flexor. Now left foot to the floor, right knee up, just like we did before, but without the strap. Kick the leg out. Great, Cathy. 2, 3, 4, and then see if you can linger and wiggle all the toes. That's great distraction and good for the toe mobility. And then bend the knee and slide it out to the side. Yep, emphasize the standing leg, so there's a little press. Kick it out. Who are you kicking? And then keep it up, lift it, yep. Press this foot in, that'll give you more stability, and then bend the knee and bring it back to center. Okay. Emphasize pressing that leg down and kick out and back in, out and back in. 3. This time we linger and wiggle all the toes. So you can wave the big toe only. Nice, Cathy. And then bend the knee. I'm going out to the side. Press this right foot, your right foot into the ground. Kick out. You get to kick whatever it is on this side. Kick it out. Linger, 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 press that right foot into the ground, and then bend the knee and come back in. Take your feet a little bit forward. No, I didn't mean forward, I meant back, so your heels come back. Yep. And then it's chair pose, so we're gonna do this 10 times, you're doing great.
How many 10 you said?
Yes.
Oh my
Now
God.
watch your right knee, your left knee. It tips in. See if you can keep it sliding straight forward. Yep. Think about the outside edges of your feet. Yep. Keep thinking about the outside edges of your heels and feet. Nice, you did a great job. That's okay, but you reduced how much it's doing it. Look, Cathy, you've improved just by thinking about it. You really, really, like by several inches. Okay, I'm so happy with your progress. Look at that.
Yes, I moved my feet out.
Well, if that, yeah, then that's what you needed, was a wider stance. And keep talking to that knee. Oh, you're so good when you think about it. Okay. I got so excited about your knee tracking straight. I don't know what number we're on.
I don't know.
Last time. We're actually going to come down, and I have too much fun with you, Cathy. We're going to come down to the mat. I'd like to get a bolster and a blanket, but while I'm doing that, I want you to come down I want you to come all the way down to your back. The strap is close by, but I need to, you stay there, I'll get a blanket. Block. And I think this is how we usually set you up, Cathy.
That's where my head goes.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to be able to get up. I say that to you every time, and I get up.
Yes, you do. Now, we often use the chair at the top of the mat, and you come down. You usually, the way we usually do is you come down like this, and then I can move the chair out of the way, and then your blanket and your block are here. Is that a good way to do it?
Yeah, so put the chair here, come down, and then move the chair.
Yeah. Perfect, Cathy.
Okay.
Lovely. There you go. Feet bent, yeah. Now, that looks a little bit high. Let me, wait, put your head down for a minute and let me come down and, I'm gonna try folding the blanket and taking the block away. Now I'm ready for you to move your head. So it might be this is too low, but let's see. Now take your head down. Oh, now it is a little low.
It's a little low.
Let's try bolster. Here comes the bolster. How's that?
Oh, that works.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Now, what I want you to do is use my draw the right knee into the chest. Right knee, and foot goes high and hold on. And sort of flex and point the feet a couple of times.
Ah,
Yeah.
I almost lost my balance. Like this?
See how, take the foot as high as your hamstrings in the back of your thigh will allow, but not pressing to agony, just how, yeah,
Like that.
yeah. Now, I want you to draw the other foot in and place the foot in the strap too. Yep. Yep. And then stretch both feet up. Yep. And then bend both knees and keep the strap in your hands. Yep. Now, how is that for your hip flexors?
Here,
I'm going to change the strap. I'm not happy with the strap, Cathy.
I lost. Okay,
Take your hands down by the sides and hold on to the mat.
okay,
Okay? So I mean really hold on to the edge of the mat.
okay.
Because what I want is I want you to draw your knees into your chest, and I want you to feel, may I put my hands on your knees? I want you to feel a little bit of a tip of the tail up, which means your low belly is scooping. Because I want you to send bicycle the legs so they go out and back in, but I want you to keep your tail scooped up. So it'll look like
This?
yeah, just like that. So it's a challenge to the hip flexors.
Okay.
So keep that going. And the tail is gently lifted and the belly is firm so that you're supporting the legs as they extend out. So this is a gentle bicycling movement. Keep going 4 more times. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now hands to the knees. Hands to the knees. Yeah, and then pause here because this is the child's pose. Upside down on your back. What I want is, I want you to think about your lower back and buttocks softening so that there's a stretch of the low back. And not excessively so, but in a way that's gentle and soothing. So that those muscles of the, they're the sacroiliac SI joint muscles. They love to get a little tight. And now I want you to circle the knees as a unit.
Circle.
It will look like, so it's a massage to the lower back, like this. So the knees stay pretty close together. They don't have to stay exactly together, but there's a slow circle, and what happens is you use the weight of your legs to massage the lower back, and then go the other way. So it's like the weight of the legs drops through you to sort of have pressure points in a circle on the lower back, especially in that area of the.
Okay, I kind of lurched to the right. So,
It probably means that your left side isn't quite as strong. So we need a little bit of strengthening here. All right, I would like you to take your hands down by the sides, keep your knees up, and gently press the hands into the, well, take your hands a little wide, and I don't want you to go very far. I want the knees to come up, which is abdominal muscles, and the knees to slightly sway just to about here to the right. Yep, and they come up a little bit. It's a lot of abdominals, and then sway the knees back over to the center and to the left, and the knees come up. It's called belly turning pose, and you feel that in your abs, and then the knees come back to center. Go to the right, and the knees come up, up, and turn the head to the left. Yep. And then head and knees come back to center. And then to the right, your head goes as your knees go to the left. Knees this way, head that way. Yeah.
okay.
Yep. And the knees come up, the knees come up, the knees come up. Yeah, because it's more supportive for the lower back. And then come back to center. And feet to the floor. How was that, Kathy?
Sorry, that was interesting.
Well, it should be that it was the side muscles, which I perceived that because of your wobble that a little bit more strength here would be good for you. So it's side abdominals, they're called.
Side abdominals.
Yes, side abdominals.
Okay.
And I want to do a little bit more to strengthen thighs. Really, that's chair pose, and we did a bunch of those, so I think that's good. So the chair pose is good for you, for thighs. We did a little bit of side oblique, the side twist to strengthen your side body. And then we did that bicycling movement to strengthen hip flexors and tops of the thighs too.
Okay.
We did the child's pose to help you round your lower back. And are you comfortable on your knees? Because we can also just rest in a child's pose on your knees.
Yeah.
And what I would do is set up a restorative child's pose with a bolster. You may not be able to set it up at home unless you're creative about using pillows and blankets. But it's a nice way. So come up to seated, and I'll help you set up the child's supported child's pose. So here's your block. If you can scoot a little towards the windows.
So get on my knees?
Yeah, but not yet. Let me get this set up for you. I'll show you.
Mm-hmm.
And how are your knees in terms of being on your knees?
They're all right.
Okay, good. Hold on, don't go yet. I'd like to show you where we're going so you know. Let me get a block. It's a resting, rounded back pose. I'm going to show you over here. I can give you a couple of bolsters so you can be higher if you're not comfortable with this flexibility. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a block on the medium setting. I'll guide you through this. Tuck this into the belly and then walk down so that I'm resting here or here. So my belly is supported and this area can lengthen out. I can give you 2 bolsters if that's better for you, or a higher bolster. let's try a higher bolster. Because we have one. But you. Let's put the higher bolster here. And then you're gonna wanna sit here. And then your belly, your knees go on either side. Yep. Tuck this into the top of the legs. And then this comes into the belly.
Okay.
Because you want to support here.
So
Yeah.
I wanna do this.
And then, actually, yeah, fold your hands under your head. Yeah. And then settle here. And then it's a restorative resting pose. How is that, Kathy?
It's fine.
Okay. And then what,
I
may I
thought
bring
it'd
your,
be too high, but it's okay.
well, you feel like you're too high?
No, I thought it would be, but it's not.
Yeah, it's nice to be high. May I take my hands to your lower back?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a sense of the top of the pelvis right here dropping this way. So the low belly scoops. Your front ribs, your front bottom ribs
Mm-hmm.
are supported. And may I take a hand to your back ribs?
That's fine.
Yeah, so this area feels like it's broadening. So the whole back is lengthening from head to tail.
Right, on this
Yeah.
supported pose.
The back SI joints are right here and here can just quiet down.
Mm-hmm.
So it really is right where the pelvis and the sacrum come together. That usually is where those muscles think they need to be excessively strong, especially when a little bit more thigh and hip flexor are called upon. Notice the breath and see if the back ribs can move with the breath. So it's just a gentle movement. Nice, Kathy. Of course, the ribs reflect the movement of the breath. Out. We'll rest here for about 4 more breaths. And then to undo this pose, pause for a moment. The area that you were talking about that tends to be tight,
Uh-huh.
see if, don't move, but think about moving and see what happens to that area. And then ask your body if you can move as smoothly as possible to bring the hands to the floor. And roll up to a seated position to start unwinding the props. We have about 5 minutes
Okay.
from what I can tell. And I would, let's call that our resting Shavasana.
Okay.
As we unwind the pose and bring you carefully up to standing. You might have to crawl back, or you can use the chair. There you go. Let me get a few things out of the way, including the bolster. Okay, ta-da!
Ta-da!
All right, let's take a moment and close the practice. But let's take a moment here and close the practice. I hope that balance work was good for you. The hip flexor and the stretching of the low back and a little bit of side oblique work, which I didn't expect to do. So nice to work with you, Cathy. Namaste.
Namaste. It's nice to work with you.
All right, let me cross the fingers. First, I'm going to turn off the video, then I'm going to cross your fingers that it's still recording. It says 46 minutes. That's great.